Right now, it's got to be Fury. All for what I saw. All for... Listen, I don't dismiss the possibility that Joshua could hit Fury a right hand, the way Wok did. But I do think Fury will be more aware of the possibility of that, make it a little bit harder than he made it with Wok, or Vok, or Vok. Whatever. I think that Fury, his ability to use his legs, to counterpunch, to put punches together, to run punches, that he'll have a chance where Joshua stands up a little bit in front of you. He's not the quickest feet to close. He'll have a chance to run some punches before he closes the gap. Does that make sense?
Teddy Atlas believes Tyson Fury holds the key advantage after what he saw from Joshua against Pringa, raising questions about whether Joshua can handle Fury's unique style.
I also believe that the way I saw Joshua early in the fight, how available he was, if that's fair. And again, he'll be better too. He'll be more alert. He'll know that he has more of a danger in front of him. But I just think that the hand speed, the length, the ability of Fury, the legs, to be on the outside, that maybe he could get to Joshua before Joshua could get to him.
Predicting the outcome, Atlas reveals how the fight plan between Joshua and Fury could unfold, highlighting the areas where each fighter can showcase their strengths and skills.
Because Joshua's going to probably have to be, for me, the fight plan would be always with Joshua. You want to back the guy up with that stiff jab you got. You got a good, stiff, hard jab. You want to back him up and set the table. You want to set the table, go to the body, but you want to set the table for the right hand for the most part. And you want to control that distance with that jab, where you clear the way, you back him up, you keep him, defensive. And I think that Fury, his ability to use his legs, to counterpunch, to put punches together, to run punches.
Criticizing Joshua, Johnny Nelson insists his chin vulnerability remains a major concern, warning that this weakness could become a serious problem ahead of his fight with Fury.
So when that's gone, that's the danger. When that starts to be vulnerable, that will always be the danger for any fighter out there. The amount of fighters I can name and say, the chin was their weakness, their talent was unbelievable, but the whole point of boxing is to put your opponent unconscious. That's the whole point. So you've got to get in the chin.
Does Tyson have enough power to stop AJ?
Sorry?
Does Tyson Fury have the power because he's called a non-puncher?
No, but he has the punch variation. You look at when he knocked out Dylan White, took him with, uppercut straight through the middle. Those shots you don't see coming, the variation up, down, up, all over, they're the shots that will take you out.
Meanwhile, a longtime supporter of Joshua, Nelson is now leaning toward Fury, believing the heavyweight has displayed better boxing skills and technical ability than AJ.
I said it, but you're asking me who I think wins on the last performance over the last 48 hours. AJ showed power but vulnerability. Fury showed like that his legs aren't what they were, and he showed a lackluster. But then you've got to look at the level of opponent. And so, you're going to go with power and heart, or you're going to go with the boxing skill that Fury still has? And I think today, I'd have to say Fury. After the performance on the last 48 hours. And I've always leant towards AJ. And I'm like, and I wasn't even there. A man that were there, they were like, he's gone. His chin is done.
Going even further, Duke McKenzie delivered a harsh warning to Joshua, insisting he must accept the truth and prepare for a knockout if he chooses to face Fury.
Nobody's going to think any worse of you if you go, you know what, I haven't got it anymore, and I'm walking away from boxing. People will respect you more for being truthful, but they'll have no respect for you if you lie and you end up getting knocked out in your very next fight, and it's a bad knockout. That's what you don't want. To your arch enemy, Tyson Fury, who, by the way, up until I saw your fight, I thought the Fury fight was absolute. I thought he was shot to pieces. I thought he was gone. Now, when we look at Tyson Fury, he boxed a guy that was 40 years old, 40 years plus in his career. A guy that only really should be a sparring partner.
Furthermore, Duke McKenzie believes both Joshua and Fury have already earned enough money and should consider walking away from boxing. He is not only criticizing Joshua, but also questioning Fury's current level. McKenzie claims Fury struggled against an opponent who looked like little more than a sparring partner and should have finished the job quickly. In his view, both fighters need to accept their time at the top is ending.
That he should have just gone in there and ruined him, just beat the hell out of him in 1 or 2 rounds and looked sensational. But Fury also, he's shot to pieces. His legs have been gone for quite some time. Never mind, I've lost 2 stone in training. Maybe you have. But, you know, I would argue that. Personally, I would argue that. But it's like these guys don't know when they've had enough. They don't need to fight. They don't need to cement legacies or anything like that. AJ doesn't have to fight Fury, and Fury doesn't have to fight AJ. In an ideal world, you'd want these two to fight in the prime of their careers. But what we're looking at now, these 2 guys aren't in the prime of their careers. They're both shot, they're both over the hill, they both earn buckets of money.
Meanwhile, Tony Bellew has a message for those questioning whether Joshua's chin has declined. Bellew believes fans need to stop following that narrative, insisting nobody has the right to doubt Joshua's durability. He argues that until Joshua is completely flattened by a top opponent, his chin remains reliable. Bellew points to the Pringa fight, where Joshua recovered and showed his toughness, proving the strength and resilience he still carries.
Do you understand that? How can you question someone's chin when he's never been starched and he's never been flatlined? He always gets up. Even against Daniel,
he said, to be fair.
Even against Daniel Dubois, he always gets up. Once again, don't quote that gobshiter to me. He's an asshole of the highest order. Anyone who works for that rag, I'd never speak about him. So we're gonna have to change the quote about you. You're gonna have to ask me that question. He's people. I've seen something on social media, and they were saying, oh, his chin, or he's short, or he's this, or he's that. The fact bites off the floor. Anyone who knows boxing understands the science of it. Anyone can go down.
Additionally, Tony Bellew pointed out that Joshua is the only fighter willing to step forward and face Fury at this stage. He believes opponents understand the challenges Fury brings, but Joshua may be more dangerous than many expect. In Bellew's view, winning a decision against Fury is extremely unlikely, meaning Joshua's best opportunity is to create a huge moment and secure a knockout victory.
When we looked at the list, we were on DAZN and we're going through the list of the other heavyweights. Out of all of the dangerous other heavyweights, the top 10 in the world, Anthony Joshua would be picking Tyson Fury to face, because all of the others have got more pop than him. And with just that alone, you would be picking Tyson Fury. He's the boxer. He's the one who doesn't want to have a straight up fight with you. He's the one who wants to box you. And the best usually way to beat a boxer is, well, it is to just get rid of them. And I think that's Anthony Joshua's best chance. If this fight goes to point Anthony Joshua loses, Anthony Joshua has to win by knockout to win this fight, in my opinion. Yeah. He's not going to outbox. Let's be brutally honest, he's not going to outbox Tyson Fury.
No, I don't think so. I think that's right. Yeah, definitely.
At a time when many are questioning Joshua's future, Keith Sullivan, the manager of Pringa, has revealed a surprising detail about the fight. According to Sullivan, Pringa entered the bout far from his best after dealing with illness and failing to complete proper training. He claims the fighter was not fully prepared after arriving in Jeddah, shedding new light on the circumstances behind Pringa's loss.
What happened here was Christian had gotten very sick leading up to the fight. He didn't spar or train for 2 weeks before he got to Jeddah. He had 102 fever and he was in bed for 8 days straight. We brought a doctor into camp. He moved camp over to Dubai. So he brought a doctor in, drew some blood to make sure there wasn't something more serious going on. And they said he was just run down and they thought it was a flu or a cold or something and he would get over it. And it took 14 days. So we had the last 7 days before we went to Jeddah for training. We had a sparring partner there in Dubai who we didn't use at all because he just had we couldn't get him out of bed to go for a walk. In the first round, he came out and just gassed himself out. The instructions in the corner for the second round were Continue what you're doing.
Meanwhile, while fans around the world focused on Prenga's success in dropping Joshua during the opening round, Keith Sullivan revealed the difficult reality behind that moment. He explained that Prenga was struggling physically and could not follow the instructions given by his team. According to Sullivan, moments before the fight began, Prenga admitted he felt like he was heading straight back to the hospital.
That he was in for 8 days when he was gasping for air and had no energy. He was stunned what happened to him, like in an instant. He said it all came right back to him. And the lack of training, the lack of cardio that he wasn't able to do in the 3 weeks leading up to him, they caught him right at that moment. So in his head, he kind of changed the game plan from what he was instructed to do. He said to himself, I've got AJ's number. I've knocked him down 3 times. I don't care what anybody says, it was 3 knockdowns. Those ropes held him up absolutely in between the 2 counted knockdowns. You see his body flop back. If those ropes aren't there, he's on the flat of his back, and Christian Prenga has knocked a 2-time Olympian, 3-time heavyweight world champion on his ass 3 times in the first round. And Anthony Joshua is going into the second round 10-6 down. That's never happened in his life.
Furthermore, Sullivan remains proud that his fighter managed to drop the 2-time Olympic gold medalist Joshua. However, he believes the lack of preparation and inability to follow instructions revealed a deeper issue. Prenga entered the fight simply to compete without being fully ready, raising questions about whether Joshua was truly fighting for his legacy or just collecting another major payday.
So Christian's figured, I have his number, I can just land my shot when I'm ready to. Let me preserve some energy, let me stay away, let me back up a little bit. And that's the sliver, and that goes to the talent of and the skill set of AJ. That's the tiny, tiny opening in the door that AJ needed to kick that door wide open and just take over. And that's what happened. And Christian said, once AJ started working that jab and he started feeling that power, it was hard to now implement his own game plan. And, you know, we saw what happened, but there was no. And again, I'm not making excuses. I think these guys, I think it was the most exciting 5.5 minutes of boxing that I've witnessed in a very long time. I think Eddie Hearn got a lot of gray hair sitting ringside. I think the Matchroom people.
Despite all the criticism, attention remains locked on Joshua versus Fury, with November potentially being the month for their long-awaited clash. As fans wait for official confirmation, Spencer Oliver explains why this fight still carries major importance, while Simon Jordan believes the excitement and buzz surrounding the matchup may not be as strong as before.
I think they're in danger otherwise of losing to a fighter that maybe they wouldn't have lost to a couple of years ago. I understand also Tyson Fury's wanting to stay active. Yeah. You know, that's just, you know, that's for the mental state of mind and obviously for the physical side of it as well. So I do understand that, but I think we get that fight, don't we, in November, because I think it's the obvious and only option for both of them.
The anticipation and the build-up for it is just, we don't want to overcook it.
Yeah.
You know what they say, overcook the chicken, like it's there. They've got through the fights. It nearly didn't happen. It nearly could have gone the other way just a couple of days ago. Yeah. But they both got through.
But is it a chicken that you're overcooking, or is it a bit of a turkey now?
Breaking it down further, they examine how the recent performances of both fighters have shifted the predictions for this potential showdown. Some still believe Joshua displayed tremendous spirit in his knockout victory and cannot be overlooked. However, Fury continues to carry the unpredictable factor, often performing at his best when doubted. Oliver admits that, at this stage, he sees Fury as the favorite heading into the fight.
Now we've seen him fight Christian Pringa. On the basis of what you've seen from these two fighters, who are you going with to win this fight when it eventually happens?
I call it a 50-50. I'm sitting on the fence. I actually don't know. We've seen this Joshua get put down and get up and win in beautiful knockout style. You know, world-class knockout power he showed. And then you have a very tricky guy in Fury. We can't even judge him on that whack fight. Because he knew exactly what that was going to be. I'm going to just dance around. I'm probably going to look trash on purpose. We don't know. He's got the ability to do that. But when it's a big fight, when there's a lot on the line, I think this guy turns up. This guy stays in the gym and he really turns up. You've seen it.
I think we get two different fighters when they get in the ring. But if you're going off last performances, you're going to have to say Fury's going to start the favourite.
Speaking on the matchup, Andre Durrell believes Fury and Joshua may need another warm-up fight before finally meeting. He feels the performances they have recently shown are not convincing enough for many fans to believe they are fully prepared for such a massive showdown. Durrell suggests both fighters must prove they are still operating at an elite level before stepping into the ring against each other.
If they decide to fight right now, however, if we let them get another dub, another warm-up, because both of them in my book, bro, it didn't play out right for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we don't get the best versions, but we get the best of who they are now. You know what I'm saying? If they just clean up a few things. Because Anthony Joshua, though trying to implement whatever Uzi gave him, you know what I'm saying, the confidence he gained or the mentality he went in there because of the accident, losing his friends, gave him, spiritually, man, he was packed in. He was locked in. He got in there and got dropped in the first round twice. You feel what I'm saying? So, however, the body's still gonna respond the way it has to respond to certain situations, man.
Furthermore, Dirrell revealed what he believes is really happening inside Joshua's fights. In his view, Joshua has developed the right mindset and stayed focused after the Usyk losses, but the changes he worked on in training have not translated successfully in the ring. He suggests Fury should also take a warm-up fight, make adjustments, and improve his condition before considering a showdown with Joshua.
Or the normalcy of just living long enough if you didn't get into an accident. That was AJ's case, man. He was too flat-footed. He was trying to implement, I guarantee you, what Usyk gave him in camp, but you can't be Usyk. Because I know Usyk giving him the ins and the outs. He built for power. He's structured for strength. You know, so you're not going to get that kind of fighter. He was trying to bring it out after being gone, after everything that happened to him. And it didn't work out, man. So give him another fight to try to implement it a little bit more, lose a little bit more weight, and then bring it to the table, and it might work. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, he tried to be him. We got the attitude. We got the old Tyson Fury verbally, but we didn't get him physically, man, you know?
Analyzing Fury's side of the matchup, Dirrell also pointed out areas where he believes Joshua could find success. He feels Fury is not currently in the ideal physical shape and boxing condition to stand directly in front of Joshua. Dirrell believes Fury has several things to improve first, while also highlighting Joshua's punch resistance and chin as major talking points that could play a key role in the outcome.
He tried to give us that bounce, that flow, and he had a hard time as well. Man, he was vulnerable in a couple of situations where he gave the right side of his face. If Anthony Joshua was line that fight up, that shot up, it's over. He let that shot, it's over. So he need to get back in the lab and just work on some things too. But if they fight now, you know, I would expect to see the best of what they got left, and you know, I'll be satisfied with that.
I compared Anthony Joshua and Edgar Berlanga. Two guys that they're getting touched with the same punches and they're going down. What do you think that is? Like, what's causing them to hit the canvas as much as they've been hitting the canvas?
Right. Not wanting to.
Meanwhile, Peter Fury has raised serious doubts about Anthony Joshua's chances of achieving his biggest career goal against Tyson Fury. He believes Joshua still carries too many weaknesses that could become exposed under the pressure of a fight at this level. According to him, facing Fury requires more than power and confidence, as Joshua would need to overcome major challenges if he hopes to secure a victory.
Lastly on that, you said obviously he needs a lot of work, so do you think he's prepared to go into the biggest fight of his career next, or do you think there should be some sort of delay or another interim fight? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea for him. I think he needs to get out again. You don't jump from that there into a big fight, you know. Have another one. Why not? If that's, if it's not just about the money and he wants to win, then take another one. Yeah, so for me, if I was them, I'd take another one. Because, get it right. Because what he showed there, there was a lot of holes in his work.
On the other hand, former Joshua rival Dillian Whyte believes Joshua's punch resistance has not disappeared and insists the issue is more mental than physical. Whyte feels Joshua has already shown the ability to survive difficult moments and rebuild himself. In his view, personal tragedies, losing close friends, and the car accident after his victory over Jake Paul created struggles that affected Joshua and contributed to his early round problems.
Heavyweight boxing, anybody can get knocked down. I've been knocked down multiple times in different fights. So unfortunately, it's kind of hard to say is the punch resistance gone or no. I think it's more mental than punch resistance. I think he's in a place mentally where, let's be honest, he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot mentally. It's been tough on him, obviously. And listen, AJ is not my friend. It's not that me and AJ, we don't like each other per se. So, I'm actually just being honest. I think he'd have been through a lot mentally. I think he'd have been nervous and very shaky going into the fight. So, I think it's that more per se, the nervousness and mentally not being ready for the kind of fight that Christian Pringa brought to him in the early rounds.
Sharing his prediction, White insists Joshua still possesses the power needed to trouble Fury and believes that weapon cannot be ignored. In his view, if the fight goes the distance and is decided on points, Fury holds the advantage because of his boxing ability and experience. However, White believes Joshua's best path to victory is through his knockout power and creating a stoppage moment inside the ring.
If I had to push you for a prediction, Dillian, who do you think would win if and when Fury fights AJ? You knew this was coming.
I know, but it's hard to say because the boxing pugilists will pick Tyson Fury and the hardcore boxing fan will pick Anthony Joshua because AJ's got power and obviously Tyson Fury doesn't have the more power and his feet slow down. So I would say Fury on points, AJ by stoppage. There you go.
Okay.
As discussions around Joshua's retirement talks continue, White also shared his thoughts on the situation. In his view, it is not only about losing a fight that determines when a boxer walks away. White believes this could be the moment where both Joshua and Fury decide to retire after their showdown, closing the chapter on two of heavyweight boxing's biggest names.
A lot of people have talked about the fact that AJ and Fury, as they come close to fighting each other, they're not in their prime. Do you think that the loser could potentially hang up their gloves if they lose this big fight later in the year?
I think we could potentially see both men hang up their glove after the fight. Win, lose, or draw, they might have said, listen, we've done everything. Tyson's won all the belts. AJ's been multiple unified world champion. They might have said, yeah, that's it. I might have said, and then realistically, who would you want to fight after you fight? After them two fight each other, who would they really want to fight? I think they might both hang up their gloves after. And then it'd be a sad day for boxing.
The question now remains, can Joshua prove the doubters wrong and overcome Fury's unpredictable style, or will Fury show why so many believe he still has the edge? This heavyweight rivalry is closer than ever, and the final answer will come inside the ring. Share your prediction below, subscribe, and stay tuned for more boxing updates.